Welcome to the WDW Fan Zone Show. Tonight, we're going pool hopping across Walt Disney World from the resort to resort. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I don't know much about the pools other than a select few that I've been to over the years with my kids and family and what have you. But we've got three other experts here who will guide us through their ways and pools and waves and pools, I should say. And let me introduce them to you. We've got Darlene Nagy, Lottie Ferguson, and Kurt. And I am Stuart Sternberg. I'm going to get into it right now. Now, this was actually an idea that you had, Lottie, a couple of weeks ago, because I was going like, I don't know what we can talk about. We've talked about everything lately. So I do greatly appreciate it.
I don't remember saying it, but okay.
Yeah. Disney's got a wide variety of pools. Now, the one I do know a little bit something about, I've actually been to, and I just saw it recently because I was just by the yacht club, is Stormalong Bay, which is probably the most phenomenal resort pool you'll ever see at a Disney resort.
I think that's the number one pool.
It's a mini water park. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a mini water park.
Yeah. Now, would you guys prefer to just give you favorites? Because I'm going to keep out of this because like I said, I don't know much about the pools to really contribute that much.
How do you want to break it down and go by category because I think we've all stated all three. Most of us have stated all three categories.
Yeah, you can if you like. Or you could do a top 10. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. This is something we should have discussed beforehand, but you know how I am. I'm just so disorganized.
Let's go value, moderate, deluxe.
Okay, sounds good. Value I can talk about a little bit. They're all the same, pretty much.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I know there's some differences. I know.
You want to start, Lottie? What's your favorite over there?
Value resort pool. So I'm conflicted here because Art of Animation is considered a value resort, but it's not really value resort prices.
No.
But the pool there is probably if we're considering a value resort, that one's probably my favorite. The one, the Cozy Cone.
And that's one I haven't seen of the value resorts.
The Cars Cozy Cone pool. It's off to the side. It's secluded. It's got the little cabanas are shaped like cones. You get to walk through the gas station to get to the pool area. I think that one is just really cute.
Yeah, they say it's a value, but it's really priced like a moderate. I mean, $400 a night.
It's priced like it. Well, I was going to say it was priced like it deluxe when it first opened.
Almost,
but now you're right. It's like a moderate, which tells you where the deluxe prices are.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. I like the All-Star Sport Pool because they actually have it's shaped like a pitching mound or like a baseball diamond, and the pitching mound is a baseball, or it's a cannon, and it shoots water out at you.
Oh,
I like that one. That was fun. My kids really enjoyed that when they were little.
Yeah.
I only got to see the Cozy Cone pool, like Lottie said, when David and my brother David stayed there with his kids. And that was really a very nice pool.
Yeah. See, for me, the modern resort pools are, and you guys will probably disagree with me, I've stayed at All-Star Sports, movies, and music through the years. And to me, the pools there are just a large rectangle to cool off in. Yes, I know they're themed based on the resort a little bit, but there really isn't much to them, but they serve the purpose, and that is to keep you cool. And that's really
why we like that baseball one where they got the cannon shooting at you, because there's nothing else there otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know if that was there when I stayed there, because we were there. It was, oh God, it must have been the late 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah, this was when my kids were young. So it had to be pre-2007, because that's when we got DVC.
Oh, and I forgot Pop Century. Pop Century is another one we've been at too.
Which is a very plain, like you said, plain Jane pools.
Yep. All right. Are we finished with the value?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Moderates, I know 2 pools in moderates. And I don't remember much of one of them.
So the moderate pools, you know, I got a couple favorites there. I'm gonna probably say the Coronado Springs pool that has the big the Mayan
Temple.
pyramid and the waterfall and the bars right there.
There we go.
Yeah, I think Coronado Springs is probably my favorite, and it's got the water slide too.
Right.
There, yep, there's a slide at that one.
Yeah, the moderate resorts is where you start seeing the water slides. And the pools are, like you said, more themed.
Yeah.
Disney. My favorite on the moderate level is over at Port Orleans Riverside. That Old Man River, Old Man Isle. It's fun. And it's set up like basically it's all these water troughs going over the top that are draining water down on you, and you got the water slide and everything else over there. So I really like that one.
So I like that one, but one of my favorites was the and I don't know how to say the name of it, but it's the one at the Caribbean beach. It's the Spanish theme pool. It's like a fortress. It's the I'm gonna try it, but I'll probably butcher it. Futis del Mora pool.
Wait, I don't remember that one. Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I don't know what the name of it is there, so.
Yeah, funny thing. Funny thing.
That's the pool I don't remember that much, even though we were there.
we stayed there and we didn't see the pool until the end, but I got to spend the day at the pool with my dear friend Amber and her son Alex and her husband Ray. And I got to use it. And then I was there with my cousins just recently. So it's a very beautiful pool.
It's Fuentes del Moro pool, and it's
there you go.
Closing for refurbishment the first quarter of 24.
Mm-hmm. So it hasn't been refurbed in ages. So I mean, it probably is due.
Yeah. I know Disney gets to their pools periodically, but it probably does need it if they're going to take care of it next first quarter of 2024, which is good. Now, the pool I remember the most of the moderates that I like the most of the moderates is at Port Orleans French Quarter. The slide there, and I forgive me if I forget what it's like, a dragon or something. I think
it's King Triton on a sea serpent.
That's it.
And you go out through the sea serpent's mouth and slide down his tail or his tongue. Sorry.
And it's got a funny shape, the pool too. And I think if I remember right, there's another pool, a smaller pool over to one side as well.
Yeah, there's a quiet pool over there.
Yeah. Any other pools anybody wants to mention? Wilderness Lodge. I don't remember anything. I don't
that's a deluxe resort.
It's a deluxe.
Okay, I'm sorry. Then it's a good thing I don't remember too much about it. And that's why I kind of have to recuse myself from a lot of this, because I just don't know enough about the pools. All right, let's move over to the deluxe resorts. We're breezing through this. It's been like a whole 5 minutes.
So are we just going to exclude the Yacht and Beach Club's Stormalong Bay? Because we're all going to agree that's the number one on property.
Yeah.
Because it's a little mini, and we'll talk about that at the end.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yep. Let's see. The one at Grand Floridian with the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, the kids little water play area.
And the DVC pools there are very nice.
Usually the DVC pools are just a quiet pool. What kind of theme did it have?
Oh, it was just big. It was nice. It was big. We had room. Nobody was bumping into anybody. It was very nice. And it had a walk-in area.
Oh, the zero entry pools.
Zero entry. They have that at Animal Kingdom as well. Not Kidani, the other one.
Not Sanaa, but Jumbo House.
It's the
Jumbo House. Thank you.
Umazima, I think it is the Umazima pool.
You know, there's a song based on Sanaa. It's called Ke Sanaa Sanaa.
But Ching.
Oh, good golly.
I think you're getting rusty on your bad dad jokes.
Yeah.
You need rusty. A grandkid.
Rusty, it's like the can needs to be, the can is out of oil.
Yeah.
No rusties for you? You don't need the bumper ointment?
The rusties?
Yeah. Rusties, yeah.
Yep.
The speaking of, well, there are 2 nice pools over at Wilderness Lodge, though. The one is there's a river that goes all the way down through. It starts as a spring that comes through the ground in the main area of the lodge itself, and goes out through the wall, all the way down. It's a waving river, right on down to the pool where the water slides at. Nice theme. And then if you go over by the Disney Vacation Club area, that pool in particular actually is themed like a mine area. So with a lot of mine carts and stuff. It's kind of neat.
I think for me, my 2 favorite pools over the years, besides the beach club, was the Animal Kingdom Lodge, the
Kidani?
No, not Kidani, Jumbo House.
Jumbo? Okay.
The Uzima pool, and then the pool at the boardwalk. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like the clown. The clown's
the
gone.
Creepy clown pool?
Yeah, the clown is gone. But I always liked that pool. It seemed like we could always get a seat there. We didn't have a problem.
It's just the creepy clown.
I know, right?
It was terrifying.
That was probably fun. You know what other pool is very nice is the old Key West pool. That's kind
of a nice theme. It looks like a sandcastle.
The lighthouse.
Yeah, it's a sandcastle lighthouse. It's really
neat. I love lighthouses. So that's another one of my I've got like 4 favorite pools for the deluxes. So
you mentioned clown pools. Now, just an aside note about clowns. My daughter, from the time she was little, and to this day, and she's a young adult now, is freaked out by clowns.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
Yeah, I don't know why. And my mother-in-law used to collect clown yatros.
That's why she's freaked out.
Well, I thought it might be my mother-in-law that freaked her out, but no, it was the clowns.
Poor grandma.
Surprisingly, the one pool that wasn't mentioned is the one over the Polynesian Resort that looks like a volcano.
I've never stayed there.
That's a nice
It's
pool.
really cool.
Yeah,
I always stay over at Wilderness Lodge, so I don't think about it. But I was talking about this with a friend who just came back, and he said, I told him our subject tonight. It goes, make sure you mention that pool over at the Polynesian, that volcano with the smoke coming out.
Yeah.
That is a really cool pool.
That's a nice pool.
Yeah. I haven't been in the Copper Creek pool yet either, so.
Yeah, it's been in most of the pools. And I probably never will now that I'm living down here.
Well, I mean, then that's something that you want to do. Go grab Darlene and go bar hopping at the pool bars.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to get in. Just you want to go to
drink.
Well, but they have non-alcoholic stuff at Trader Sam's.
Yeah,
they do. They do.
That's a really fun bar, and the pool is nearby, so you get to see it.
Yeah.
Or we can go for a Dole Whip.
I'm in. You mentioned Dole Whip, I'm there.
Maybe that'll be our next adventure.
The problem is the Polynesian you could walk to or take the boat to. The Wilderness Lodge, same thing. Yeah, the Wilderness Lodge, you could take a boat there from the Magic Kingdom as well. We went there just for dinner on our last trip, and they made us show our mobile order that we were going in. They're like, no, you can't just come in here. We're like, we're getting our dinner. We're the contemporary. The food's not that good. The guy goes, he kind of shook his head, and then he's like, I need to see your order. And he actually clicked it, and he said, okay, you got 5 minutes, get there. Like, okay.
Yeah. So you brought up a good point, Kurt. some pools, for some reason, they're a little more lenient than others, but they should, if you're not, I know if I'm a guest staying at a resort, I don't want somebody from another resort coming into that pool because they're crowded enough without that.
Right.
So I think Disney needs to crack down a little bit more on guests, but who aren't guests at that resort from going into certain pools.
So, but what about resorts like Art of Animation and Pop Century, where they're right there together, and you can walk back and forth between the two, or Riverside and French Quarter?
Right.
Well, I'm of the mindset
Those are sisters.
If you're staying at Pop Century, you can only go to the Pop Century pool. If you're staying at French Quarter, that's where you go. Riverside, that's where you go.
Aww.
That's my mind. Look, I don't work for Disney. I'm not in charge of them. They can do what they want.
We will do that. Well, if we're staying at a sister resort, we will go over to the other side and grab breakfast or stop by the pool.
Right. The only pools that I've ever heard of that you can't go into is Stormalong Bay.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
So
Just
as a
that
DVC
one.
member, you can pool hop to any of the pools.
Yes.
So technically, we could have just said, "Oh, we're pool hopping," and they're supposed to let us in. However, Stormalong Bay, that's not allowed. The only time they allowed people to go to Stormalong Bay was when they were redoing the Scary Clown Pool over at Boardwalk. People were allowed to go to Stormalong Bay.
I've got breaking news here. Disney is going to be charging to go pool hopping now. It's called Pool Hopping Plus.
Sorry. I
Your
can't
neighbors
turn
are
that
home.
down.
Yeah.
Racing through my neighborhood.
The Daytona 500 is now in Davenport.
Yeah. In Darlene's neighborhood. One of the things that, it is stated on the website. The boardwalk is a public area. You can go to the boardwalk, but you
Correct.
still have a very hard time if you're a local to go and park at the boardwalk. They're supposed to let you in because there is shopping and quick services in there.
Right.
You're supposed to be able to park because there's a public place, but a lot of times they will not let you park there, especially race weekends.
Oh yeah, because the race goes right through the boardwalk, so they don't.
You're better off making a reservation at one of the restaurants and parking at the resort, and then walking around the boardwalk.
Basically, yes.
But you may not want to
like
eat
the
at
Ale
one of the
and
restaurants.
Compass. I love the Ale and Compass.
Just stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
It was excellent.
Mm-hmm. Food's very good.
Yeah. Yep.
Ale and Compass. I think I had.
Are there any other pools before you guys talk about Stormalong Bay? Any other pools you want to mention or give a shout out about?
We haven't gone to it in a while. Just it was kind of a warning I was going to give. The pool that's at Bay Lake Tower, they've darkened the concrete finally, but when that was white concrete, you would burn your feet walking on that if you're walking barefoot. And I mean you would burn your feet with that 98-degree sun coming up off of it.
I can imagine.
It is darker now. I did not make it down there this last trip. The one time I thought about it, Mother Nature took over and it decided to rain. So, but when it's like right now where you guys are having your 90+ degree weather, you didn't want to walk there. And I think that's why they did that refurb and darkened up the concrete there.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Bring flip-flops.
Darlene, I don't know how it is where you're, but where I live, the sidewalk, because it's so hot down
You guys
here,
got cooling tiles. We do not.
well, yeah, the sidewalk actually, if you can put your hand on it when it's 100 degrees outside, and it will feel like it's room temperature.
Right.
It doesn't get very hot.
Yeah, we don't have that here.
See, that's what Disney, if they haven't done it already in some spots, they need to do that. But I think they have done that in most places. I'm saying that as someone who doesn't know for sure. I'm just guessing.
Now, one of the things that we've done when we've stayed on property, it depends on where we were located in, like the moderate resorts and stuff. A lot of the resorts do have private pools other than just the big pool. So if you don't want to be in the big pool with everybody and you
Mhm.
like to be in one of the private pools, there are normally one or two of those private pools located in the areas that are not located exactly by the main pool. So don't think that you have to traipse over to that pool. You don't have to. Especially if you're not there with like young kids that want to go down the water slides. If you're a person that doesn't want to go down the water slides, I liked going down the water slides with my daughter. But if you don't want to, or the kids want to play by themselves or something, you can go to those other private pool areas.
You know, I remember seeing the river, and I completely forgot about this, but I remember seeing the Riviera pool because you can take the trams across, and that's, I mean, you know, it's
Yeah, the Riviera pools are very nice.
Yeah, they're very nice, and they're big. They're open. They're also gated for the guests there, which is a good thing, I guess. I'm trying to think where we haven't mentioned the water parks because you know you go to the water parks. It's more than just a pool. It's
I have to pay for that.
Yeah.
I two things. One, I wanted to mention I think the largest pool on property is the Big Blue Pool over at Art of Animation.
I think
could
so,
be.
yeah.
I think that's the largest one on property, and
not very deep.
It's not very deep, but that plays into what Darlene just mentioned. If you're staying at Art of Animation, don't do the Big Blue Pool because everybody's in there. Use the Cozy Cone or the Flippin' Fins Little Mermaid pool.
Yeah,
those are the smaller ones.
Yeah.
And I forgot the other thing just that fast. The water parks. I think that's hilarious that Darlene's never been. I've only been to one of them. I mean, we probably have.
I've been to all three.
We probably have a combined total of 175 years of park visits, and water parks are not typically.
I've been in Typhoon Lagoon once and Blizzard Beach once.
Maybe believe it or not, I've been to Island H2O like the whole last year.
Yeah, I've been to all three because we used to stay over at Fort Wilderness, so we used to go to River Country all the time. The last time I went to River Country, I came off of one of those water slides, and it felt like it pulled me under, and the water was deep underneath of there, and it was dark. I could see why they were closing that down. I honestly, it almost scared me a little bit the way it pulled me down underneath. I was like, that scares me.
I remember the commercials for River Country, and they made it sound like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I couldn't wait to go. I wanted to go, and my parents never took me. Bastards.
It was fun. I really did enjoy the inner tube rides. I just didn't do much of the tubes.
I would like to go to both Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon and check them out. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I think
go ahead, Carl. Go on. I was going to say I do enjoy doing the Humunga Kawabunga over at Typhoon Lagoon, and I love their wave pool. I'm not a huge Summit Plummet person. That's what I'm not doing. I don't like heights. So just getting up there and standing up there, going up that tower.
Yeah,
I'm gonna lose. I feel like I'm gonna lose my balance and fall off the tower, even though I'm being held in place by about 150 people around me.
Yeah, I'm okay getting up. It's the going down part that I'm not a fan of. But give me a lazy river, I'm happy.
The Saratoga Springs pools are very nice too, because I've stayed there and been at their pools.
Yeah, and I just want to get back to Typhoon Lagoon just for a brief second. I remember we went there with our kids when they were little, and my son wanted to do the snorkeling with the fish and everything, and whatever.
Sharks.
He went in there. He was in there for a few minutes, and then he had enough, and that was it. He was done. But he lasted longer than I would have.
Yeah,
that was fun. They would not allow you to dive. You had to swim across the top, If you dove in, they'd just get out.
Yank out, yeah.
And the sharks would literally come right up and swim right next to you.
Oh,
And they weren't tiger sharks. They were like nurse sharks. There might have been a lemon shark if I remember correctly. There was nothing over. I don't even think there might have been a 4-foot shark, if that. I think most were 3 feet or less.
It could be goldfish in there. I'm good.
They stayed all the way down to the bottom. Now, if we get back to Stormalong Bay, interesting fact. With the sand bottom and everything else, when that first opened, it had fish in it.
Did it?
Yeah, they had problems keeping the fish alive. Who knows? Ammonia contract? I don't know. Coming out of they had problems keeping the fish alive.
Yeah, I can imagine. No.
So they nixed that after a year or two. But yeah, look it up.
Now, I've got a question for all three of you. Would you recommend to somebody to choose a resort, even partially based on the pool at the resort, or do you think the pool should be secondary to the room and everything else Walt Disney World has to offer?
That depends on who's going.
Yeah.
My kids are at the age now where again, 20 and 22, we didn't go anywhere near we haven't gone near a pool since pre-pandemic. So I think I know we went to the pools when we were at Polynesian. And by the way, when it's 105 outside, that pool water is about 98. It was stinking hot. And the regular pools felt like a hot tub. It was hot. It was uncomfortable to be in there. So that being said, my kids, no. Why? We don't judge it on a pool because I'm not going to go alone and no one wants to go down there with me.
Okay, so let me rephrase it because that's a good point, Kurt. What if it's a family with elementary to preschool age children or preschool to elementary age children who are big fans of the parks?
That's what I was going to say. What kind of are they open to close?
Well, yeah,
So
I would tell anybody who's going to the parks, don't go there open to close, but
So I think that I would tell that family not to base their decision on the pool, because if they're going with small kids, especially if they're more than 2, you're probably not going to spend a whole lot of time in the pool because at least in our opinion, it was more work on vacation to watch those kids, keep an eye on those kids if you weren't in the pool with them.
Oh yeah.
Than it was to just have them go do something else on the resort. We never picked the resort for pools because the kids are going to they're going to swim. They don't care if it's a kiddie pool or an Olympic sized pool. They're going to get in it. So
yeah, kids don't care.
They don't care.
Invariably, if you tell your kids this resort's got a great pool, you're going to love it there, guess what? They may not want to go to the parks. They might just want to stay at the pool.
I know
my cousins, when they, I think, picked the resort that they were staying in, they picked it on proximity, what transportation was offered. They were on the Skyliner. So they were, they had that, and the pool is just a bonus for them. And we did spend a whole day at the pool. So.
Yeah, I think the majority of people, unless you're in the 1%ers, you're going to pick the resort that fits your wallet, which is probably very few people these days.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be honest, the time that I stayed at the Grand Floridian in the DVC resort with your lovely wife, we literally walked down the hall to the elevator, walked right out to the pool. We were at the private DVC pool and we loved it. We didn't even go over to the other one at the Grand Floridian.
Well, and it's the DVC pool, isn't it just it's a quiet pool?
Yeah, it was.
I don't
beautiful.
even think it's got a slide.
It was actually pretty crowded for being a DVC, private pool. It was pretty crowded.
There are a lot of resorts down here that have phenomenal pools. And the reason they have phenomenal pools is because they're competing with the theme parks. So they're trying to keep there are guests that are staying there at the pool to spend their money at the bar, the restaurants, blah blah blah.
Or just going to that resort in general.
Yes.
Look, if you come, the price you're paying for that value resort, look at our resort and look at our pool.
Yep.
I remember years ago when we came down in 2016 and all the kids were going out for dinner, the adults. So my uncle and aunt took the kids and sat at the pool with them. So, and they were, I think, at Pop Century at that time, and the kids had a blast. They ate subs by the pool. They were thrilled to death.
Well, and you can bring those little sponge balls or like a football or a frisbee or something.
Mm-hmm.
You can use them in a pool. They don't mind as long as it's not something that's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Gotta be the ones.
Yeah, I've seen when I say softball, like those sponge ball kind of things, beach balls I've seen at the pools.
Mm-hmm.
Not a hard ball, not a frisbee.
No.
And that's what keeps them fun. So, but you know what? We said that Stormalong Bay is our favorite pool, but we never really described it.
No.
I mean, Stormalong Bay has its own lazy river.
It
Yes.
does.
It's a sand bottom as well.
It is. And when you go there, you'll see we're like, where's this water slide? We kept seeing people come out. We couldn't figure out where it was at. You have to walk across the sidewalk to the beach that's on the lake to the wrecked pirate ship. Climb onto the pirate ship, go up the mast that's then tipped over at the crow's nest. And that's what goes. So you go on the water slide, you're going over the top of the sidewalk and then through the jungle back into the pool. It's one of the longest water slides that's not at a water park.
Yeah, it's a really cool one.
It is. Now that one, that I think that's the only part I don't like about it. If you're a parent and you're trying to keep your eye on your kids, you know, there are people that are walking through there, and so you know, you gotta be careful. You gotta pay attention to your kids as they're running back and forth between the slide and the pool.
Exactly.
I was going with him. I was right there with him. I was on one end and was on the other end. Well, and at one point, we all went over there. Anna was in the front, I was in the back, vice versa. Also realize every pool has free life jackets for the kids.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They do.
And you can put the life jackets on and go on down and do all the stuff. Get them. Highly recommend you get them if you got little kids. But yeah, that's Lottie, you make a good point. But I'm right there, you know. Get it hard. Let's hit that slide.
But for every
you only got one parent out there though.
Yeah, that's
2 kids.
That's hard.
But you know what, Lottie? For every responsible parent that you see, there are 2 or 3 that don't care where their kids are or what they're doing. And unfortunately, you see a lot of that down here.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? 3 months ago, there was a kid, it was like a 3-year-old kid climbing to the top of the pyramid. Yeah. You didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, the pyramid, the water's pouring down. And there's a video of it as the kid's climbing his way to the top. And they're like, you need to come down. You need to come down. Where's his mom? And mom or dad, whoever, I think it was mom at that time, was over on her phone, not paying attention to anything that was going on. She's looking this way. And the kid's over here.
Coronado or?
At Coronado. Yeah.
Wow.
The stairs are so narrow. How were
it was like this little tiny 3-year-old kid.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not kidding. I didn't even want to watch the video.
They did the pyramid in Mexico in Epcot.
Oh, I could see that happening too.
Yep.
You know, parent has 1 or 2 drinks. They're on their phone. They're not watching, or they're they're doing work on their phone while they're at Disney World instead of being on vacation. And the kids are just
guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, but you won't let your kid. You'll still keep an eye on your kids. Where these parents won't. Go into a Walmart down here. You'll find more kids without parents in the toy section than you will anywhere else. They just drop them off there. And it's like, go have fun, play some games, take out a ball and bounce it around.
I just love the parents that let their kids run back and forth down the aisles and stuff. And I'm just trying to get and then you've got your shoppers for the people that don't want to come to the store. Then you got the stock shelf people that are stocking those shelves, and then you have the kids are.
I didn't mean for it to get this far off topic, and I apologize for that. But think about it in the pools too. The kids are just running around, and before you know it, they're in water over their heads, and these parents are.
Yep.
Well, and this is one of the things children are not allowed to run on the pool decks at Disney. They are supposed
Children
to
aren't supposed to be at the pool without an adult under the age of 16.
Yes.
Yes. Well, did you hear? I think it was a couple of years, or maybe it was more than a couple of years ago, on a cruise ship, and it was a Disney cruise ship, unfortunately. Well, like the parents, they said they turned around for a second, and the kid went under. I don't know. I don't know what happened to the kid. I don't remember if the kid survived or not, but that's horrible.
It is. And that's the thing. You got to watch your children.
Yep, absolutely.
Just safety tip. Don't put them in blue swimsuits.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put, because you can't see them when they're underwater.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of parents will put their kids, if they're small enough, in those life vests, just so they, those orange life vests, which does help. It really does help.
I mean, you really got to watch children.
We used to have those swimsuits where it was all the life vest was over the top of it, so it would all lock in place and to keep them upright. We used to have them in those when they were really little.
Yep.
So one recommendation is if you're going to be wearing sunglasses, make sure they're polarized. Polarized gets rid of all the glare on the water. You can see down into the water better.
Mm.
It's also better for your eyes too. It protects them a little bit more.
Well, they want the stylish one though, because these are the ones that look really cool. The problem with that is you can't see into the water, and some of them don't even keep the sun out very well.
Yep, very true. So for those listening or watching the show tonight, not only did you get to know a little bit more about the pools, you got some tips on what to do with your kids and what not to do with your kids. Anybody else want to add anything about any of the pools or bring up something we haven't discussed with the pools yet?
No glass bottles.
Oh,
they are fine. Yeah. They're fine. We didn't even think about it one time. We came down and we had our beverages with us, and they're like, "Hey, here's a cup for you. You're welcome to have your beverage. We don't care. You cannot have it in a glass bottle." Sorry.
Yeah, that's a no-no because I live in and I'm just going to use this place as an example. I'm making this up as I go along just because I want to get at a point. Let's say adults, they're active adults here, which means you should know better. You're at that age where you have children and grandchildren in a lot of cases. But if you go to a pool area with a glass bottle or even a glass of some sort, what happens if it breaks? People are walking around barefoot. What if it gets into the pool? That's even worse.
If it's in the pool,
I'm not saying that's happened here. It hasn't, as far as I know, but it's something that can happen. And that's the reason why you don't want to bring glass anywhere near a pool.
Yeah.
And again, we hadn't even thought about it because we were just sitting out watching the kids, and we're farther away from the pool. Never thought about it because we're like, well, we're still on the patio area around it, so we're like, okay, get rid of the glass.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you don't think about it because it's just something you would normally do, and then it's like, whoops.
Yeah, and we weren't even like Darlene and Lottie drunk or anything like that. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
All right. So, I wanted to mention, I'm trying to look them up here. It doesn't seem to be any consistency on pool hours.
Right. I was looking at pool hours too.
Darlene is the expert on hours at the parks. And when I say expert, it's like when she reads the hours for the news, not only does it change from week to week, sometimes they just make no sense. Not Darlene doesn't make sense. The pool hours, or I'm sorry, the park hours, pool hours, whatever it is, make no sense.
Pool hours normally start because each pool they seem to change, so you really got to check the posting. But they're normally open from dawn to dusk, but they might ask you to get out to test the water. Mm-hmm. I know I was at the pool. We were probably down there by like 9 a.m. sitting by the pool, and they were coming around and they were testing the water. They didn't make us get out, but they did test the water at that time. But it's normally between 7 and 9 a.m. And then there's no lifeguards. Basically, at the private pools, there's no lifeguards. Mm-hmm. But at the big pools, there's normally lifeguards until I think like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. But I can't say I have not seen people in the pool.
The pools
until like 11, 12 o'clock at night.
I don't want to say that the pools never close, but the guards are gone by, like you said, around 9. There's no supervision and no lifeguards. It's posted there.
So
and that's why when people are like, I want a pool view room, no, you don't. Mm-hmm. Because especially those value resorts, they get loud.
Yeah.
At midnight.
We've come back from the parks when they used to have late night magic hours or park out. We'd come back around 12, 1 o'clock, and there'd be families with their little kids in the pool.
Mm-hmm. Even when it's 50 degrees out, those kids are in the pool.
Well, yeah, but the water's a constant. I think it's 82 or 84.
Yeah, that water's
so the pools are always heated.
There was steam I remember being the water, but the kids were still swimming.
We went down there one year at Thanksgiving time, and it was 68, 70 degrees. My wife took the kids to the pool. I went and looked at all the resort candy displays and everything, and they just stayed in the pool. I go, "Is everything okay?" They're like, she goes, "Yeah, this feels great." So, they do heat all the pools. And again, the sun will heat it in the summertime. It's 98 degrees. Wish they could cool that.
All right. I think we're going to end the show here, unless somebody has anything else they want to mention that they forgot to mention or anything. All right. We'll be back. I think we're going to get back to our normal schedule next week until that changes again. We're looking, I don't know when this is going to happen, but we're likely going to combine the news show with the regular show at some point. How we're going to do that and when we're going to do that, I am not sure at this point. It's something that's coming down the line, and then it'll be just one weekly show, a longer weekly show at that. But we'll get there sooner than later, I believe. Although I preserve the right to change my mind. But until next time, I hope everybody had a great 4th. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Be safe. Be yourself. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
See you real soon.
If you would like to see some videos of Epcot and Seasons, Soarin', and the living at the seas, living with the land. Yeah, Living with the Land. Oh my goodness. Living with the Land last night. Check Facebook out. We're trying to get those videos up on YouTube, but they're not working. So if you're listening to us, you could check those out on our WDW Fan Zone page. We had a very nice show last night. Have a magical night. Stay safe. Pack your sunscreen and ponchos because it does rain in Florida.
Now I was going to end the show right then and there, but I do want to mention one thing because you said it wasn't working. It's not that it wasn't working; it's that we didn't know. What we really should have done was record on YouTube and then download it to Facebook. We didn't do that, or share it to Facebook.
There used to be a way to download it, but we haven't. It wasn't there yesterday.
We'll figure it out eventually, or hopefully somebody, if you're out there, you know how to do it. Please let us know. All right. Good night again, everybody. Oh, here we go again.
You sure it clicked? Because I didn't hear anything click.
Yeah, let me try it again. This is ridiculous.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.